Did you know that nearly 90% of day-old chicks' mortality happens in the first week, if not cared for properly? Let's ensure yours thrive from day one. In this video, you will learn essential tips and tricks for raising day-old chicks successfully. You will also learn the parameters that need to be in place for a successful brooding, thereby setting you up for a healthy flock. Okay, this is the sawdust I'll be using. I've been able to go source for sawdust from the sawmill, and this is very okay. Now, how do you know the quality of good litres you should use? You see, when I use hand to press this thing together, now you see it doesn't take how many seconds it disintegrates in my hands. Now, if it is wet, do not use it. If you press it together like this and it holds together, do not use it, because this is very dry now. And another thing you need to note, when you go to source for sawdust or wood shave to use as your beddings or litters, ensure you source it from a clean source. Because of biosecurity, ensure you source it from a clean source. So don't just pack any sawdust and then use as your beddings. Ensure you source it from a very clean source. I'm going to spread this in the brooder and then make the brooder guide before coming to set up the heating source. Then we'll also have our checklist. We don't just spread the wood shave or sawdust on the floor and then decide to go book. No, we have a checklist. Now that checklist will be checking, okay, is the lighting okay? Is the water system, is it functioning? What about the heating source? Is it working properly? Okay. What about our medication? Have we bought the medication? Is everything ready? The feed, is it there? What about the drinkers? Are they ready and functioning? So if you are using Nipple drinking system, which is the automatic system, are they functioning? Okay. You need to test run them to be sure that everything is working well. It's not when your birds arrive before you now be moving up and down. Oh, this thing is not working, let me put it in order. No, we need to ensure everything is set before we place an order. So we've been able to bring the sawdust now. This is what I'll be using. We'll take that. Okay, so beddings has been settled. We'll do that. Now we'll be using this carton to cover the sawdust for the first few days so that the chicks will not feed on the sawdust. Now I would have loved to use wood shave because of the particles, but I realized that there are times different people bring wood there to plane, and that some of those wood are preserved with chemicals. So I don't want to go and get wood shave from such wood, which will in most cases, no matter how you do it, some of the chicks will definitely pick some of this wood shave or sawdust. So I don't want anything that will affect the chicks. So I'll have to leave that aside and then concentrate on sawdust. So I'm going to show you how you can maximize this and still make good use of it. I've been using this carton to form something like a circle in this pen to serve as my brooder guide. Now the essence of this brooder guide is to ensure that the chicks do not pile up in the corners. In other words, is to ensure that the heat circulates around the brooder. That's the essence of using this brooder guide. Otherwise, I would have been able to just place the chicks here, then limit them to a certain area and then do my brooding. But I want to be sure that everything is okay. So I'm setting this other carton here so to make sure the edge, the four corners are curved. So that's the essence of this brooder guide. Okay, you can see the brooder guide has been set up at one end. That's that end there. So the curved edge, like I said. So this other end has also been set up. So it's not time to spread the beddings on the floor before coming to cover it up with the carton I talked about. For this first week, I don't normally put much, but I put some level of sawdust. I don't normally allow it to be much because I know within the first 1 week to 10 days I'm going to replace it. So I don't normally allow it to be much. I spread the first part, so I need to go spread the other side around before coming to use the cartons to cover the sawdust. Now that covering is going to last for about 4 to 5 days, and if need be, at day 2 or day 3, I may need to replace the carton that will be covering this sawdust or wood shave. then replace it with a cleaner ones, because by that day 2, day 3, everywhere will be messed up. So you need to change the newspaper or the cartons that you place on the sawdust. As the birds grow, I keep expanding the brooder guide till they no longer need heat. That's when I can now remove the brooder guide. Now in this my brooder, I'll be raising about 150 chicks. The pen I have here can comfortably take up to 250, but however, the resources available at my disposal now can only take 150. So I'm going to be raising 150 in this pen. So this is it. This is the process of setting up the brooder. So I've just spread the wood shave on the floor. So the next thing I'll be doing right now is to come and cover it up with the cartons I told you about. So once that is done, we check it on our list that it has been taken care of. So the next thing will now be to set up the drinkers, the feeders, the drinking system. If I'm using the Nipple drinkers, which is what I'll be using, then check our list also. Have we bought the drugs? That's the medication. Then the feed. Normally, I don't have much space to store feed, so I buy what can take me up to a week. So once that one is about to be exhausted, I'll now restock. That's how I do my feeding. So if you have a facility that can store your feed thoroughly without getting spoiled, then you can buy as much as you want. But I will advise you buy what can take you for a week. So that's my advice to you. Okay, this is the brooder. It's been set up. The charcoal, though I've not liked the charcoal. The tray feeder, the drinkers, the nipple drinkers. So this is the other carton that I used to form the part of the tray feeder. Though this number will be enough for what I want to raise, but I don't want to take chances. So I decided to construct this with the available carton so that there will be more. So this is it. So the only thing I'm left with, so you might be wondering, why, since I said I'm using the nipple drinkers, why am I still using these manual drinkers? So I don't want to take any chance at this first week. So what I'll be doing, maybe after 1 week, I'll remove these manual drinkers and then leave the nipple drinkers for them. Because the only thing left for me to do on the nipple drinkers is to set up the tank. You remember in one of our videos on how to install these nipple drinkers and the tank. So the tank we installed then, that's the tank will be facing to this hanger. This is the tank. So I'm going to install it on top of this rack to hold it for us and then do the whole plumbing. So this is it. So once we are done now, the lighting is okay. Remember I said our checklist, the lighting is okay. So this is it. I have 2-point lighting point here, and it's very bright for the chicks to be able to feed at night. Okay. Now this is the thermometer. So I'm yet to set it up. So there is no battery in it right now. Once I fix the battery, that will be helping me to check the temperature level in this brooder. So this is it. Now this is one of the feeders I'll be using, this flip feeder. So it's very, very okay. I will also be using that. So the tray feeder, the charcoal pot, you can see it here. I've just bought the 1 bag of charcoal today, but I know this might not be enough for me. So I'll be bringing another bag tomorrow as a backup, so that I will be running up and down after the chicks have arrived. Okay, now the tank has been washed and disinfected, as well as the tray feeders, the plastic feeders, the manual drinkers. Now, one of the best way you can disinfect these plastic drinkers or feeders is to wash and sun dry for at least 8 hours, so that the ultraviolet rays from the sun can fall on the plastic for that period of time. So that's one of the best ways you can disinfect plastic feeders or drinkers. So that was the same thing I did to the plastic drinkers and feeders, as well as the tank. So I loosed everything, then washed and sun dry for over 8 hours before coming to reinstall them. another thing I'm to do is to flush this pipe, this nipple drinking pipe. I need to flush it because since the last batch I used it, I've not flushed it. Now to flush it, there is some chlorine tablet. That's what I use. So I just boil some hot water, put it inside the tank, and then drop one tablet or half tablet inside it. Open the pipe so that the water can go in, then lock the other end. Then once the water fill the pipe, then I'll normally leave it overnight so that the whole thing will kill whatever germs or bacteria that is inside that pipe or biofilm. It will kill them. Then before coming to flush it severally so that I don't perceive any sign of that chlorine tablet inside the tank or the pipe or from the water that is coming out from the nipple drinker. So at that point I can now stop and then put in my glucose solution, because that's what the chicks will need to take at first before taking feeds. So the principle we normally use in this our brooding process is water before feed. So normally for the first few minutes that the chicks arrives, what they will do, they will need to drink water first. Then after about 30 minutes or less, we'll now introduce feed to the brooder. So that's how we do our own. And one of the things I do, you know, when you bring in the day-old chicks at day 1, day 2, now they may likely run into the manual drinkers and then pull on it and all of that. So what I do to raise it up a little, I cut some 2x2 wood to some this should be about 6 inches. So depends on how long you want it to be. I cut 2, then place the drinkers on top of it. Why the tray feeder, the flip feeder, I put them on the floor that way, but raise the drinkers so they can easily drink from this level. It won't be stressful to them. But if I leave it on the floor, they will pull on it, mess it up. So I wouldn't want that. So that's the essence of me using this 2x2 wood to raise the manual drinkers up a little. But if you are using the nipple drinkers, there won't be need for that. So as you can see also, I'm using a pan as the stuff I'll be using to pull my charcoal and then hit the brooder up. So before, I don't just put that hair pan on the floor. No, what I did, I put some block under and then put the hair pan on top. So one other thing I would like to do, though this is high enough, I would love to use net to cover the heat source so that none of the birds can fly into it. So I've connected the flesh hose to the nipple drinking system and then lower it to the level that the day-old chicks will be able to drink from the nipple. So this is the whole installation. Now this is an additional stuff I added because this tank is not transparent, so I wouldn't know the level of the medications or water inside the tank. So to know the level, I had to punch somewhere along this flesh, add this transparent hose to it. So this is where the level of the water is now. So with this, I'll be able to know the water is going down. I'll need to add medications, especially if the inlet is not open. So this is what I just added to it today, just to make it easier for one to see at a glance that, okay, this is the level of the water in the tank. So this is my setup. So the next thing to do now is to place an order for the day-old chicks, because all our checklists have been met. The feed, I've bought it. The medications, I've bought it. The heating system is okay. The nipple drinking system is also okay. Our thermometer is there. We've covered the liters. That's we covered it with carton. Then the number of feeders, drinkers, everything is okay. So the next thing now is to place an order for our day-old chicks. I want you to note one thing. When you are setting up your brooder, you don't just cover up everywhere. Otherwise, the place will be stuffy. So all those odor or bad air won't have a way to escape. So to avoid that, there is an opening. You can see the opening right here at this end. Then for cross ventilation, that's the essence of that opening. Now, at the other end, at this other end, you can see there is also another opening at this end. So there is a cross ventilation. Fresh breeze comes in from that end, then exit through this other end. Is very, very important. Don't just cover up everywhere. Ensure that those two openings are there to provide cross ventilation in the brooder. If you are getting values from this video, we hope you can smash the thumbs up button if you haven't done so. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel Farmbiz with Markay, we hope you can do so to keep yourself up to date with the knowledge of broiler farming.